Imagine being locked in a small, windowless room, sleep-deprived, and relentlessly questioned about a crime you know nothing about until your own mind starts playing tricks on you and you begin to doubt your own innocence. That's what happened to 19-year-old Ethan Miller. He knew he hadn't killed anyone, but after 2 days of intense psychological pressure, he found himself confessing to a murder he only knew about from the headlines. What would you do if the very people sworn to protect you twisted your words and broke your will? Tell me in the comments where you're watching from and share your thoughts on police interrogation tactics. Ethan was a shy, artistic kid, more comfortable with charcoal sketches than crowded parties. He lived a quiet life with his single mother in a small town still reeling from the brutal murder of local shop owner Mrs. Gable. The news had been a constant hum of fear and speculation for weeks. Then, one rainy Tuesday, 2 detectives showed up at Ethan's doorstep. They said they just wanted to ask a few questions. Hours turned into an eternity. Detective Harding was the classic good cop, offering lukewarm coffee and feigned understanding. Detective Reyes was the bad cop, his voice sharp, his eyes like chips of ice. They started with casual questions about Ethan's whereabouts the night of the murder, then slowly tightened the noose. They pointed to circumstantial details. Ethan had walked past Mrs. Gable's store that evening. He sometimes struggled financially. He was quiet and kept to himself, which in their world apparently equaled guilt. "We know you were there, Ethan," Reyes would say, leaning in close, the fluorescent light reflecting off his harsh features. "We just want to hear your side of the story." But every denial, every nervous fidget was twisted into evidence of deception. They played on Ethan's insecurities, suggesting he was an outcast, that everyone in town already suspected him. The isolation of that small room became a suffocating blanket. Then came the sleep deprivation. They took his phone, refused to let him call his mother, and kept the interrogation going for hours on end, cycling through questions, never letting him rest, never letting him clear his head. Harding would offer a brief respite, a chance to stretch, only for Reyes to jump back in with renewed intensity. "Don't you feel guilty, Ethan? Mrs. Gable was a pillar of this community." Here's where their manipulation turned insidious. They started feeding him details about the crime, small, seemingly insignificant facts that hadn't been widely released. The type of candy Mrs. Gable kept behind the counter, the layout of her back office. They presented these as though they already knew Ethan was involved, subtly implying that if he just confessed, they could help him, make things easier. Ethan, exhausted and increasingly disoriented, started grasping at these details, trying to make sense of the fog in his brain. He began to repeat them back, not as facts he knew, but as things he remembered hearing from the detectives. They seized on this, twisting his repetitions into admissions. "See, Ethan, you do remember. You were there." His ally in this nightmare was a quiet but sharp public defender named Miss Davies. Assigned to his case after his eventual confession, she immediately saw the inconsistencies. Ethan's confession was riddled with details that didn't quite match the known facts, details the detectives had fed him. She knew the power of suggestion and the fragility of memory under duress. She started meticulously reviewing the interrogation tapes, her brow furrowed as she listened to the detectives' leading questions and Ethan's increasingly broken responses. She also found a crucial piece of evidence the police seemingly had overlooked: security camera footage from a gas station miles away, showing Ethan buying snacks around the estimated time of the murder. It wasn't conclusive, but it placed him far from the scene. Her physics versus paperwork moment came in the courtroom itself. Instead of relying solely on the shaky alibi, she played excerpts from the interrogation tapes for the jury. She didn't editorialize, she simply let the jurors hear the detectives' relentless pressure, the way they fed Ethan details, and his descent into confusion and eventual false confession. She argued that Ethan hadn't confessed to the crime, he had confessed to the detective's narrative. The public reckoning was slow but significant. The jury, after deliberating for hours, returned a verdict of not guilty. Ethan was free, but the psychological scars remained. The town, however, remained divided, some still clinging to the confession, others recognizing the dangers of coercive interrogation tactics. The lasting legacy of Ethan's case became a local rallying cry for police reform. Miss Davies, emboldened by the verdict, became a vocal advocate for stricter interrogation guidelines, mandatory video recording of all interrogations, and the presence of legal counsel for juveniles and vulnerable individuals. Ethan, though withdrawn, eventually found solace in his art, his sketches often depicting the stark walls and harsh lights of the interrogation room, a silent testament to his ordeal. His case became a chilling reminder that sometimes the most dangerous weapon in a police investigation isn't a gun, but the power of suggestion. What happens to a person after they've been coerced into confessing to something they didn't do? Join me next week when we explore the true story of a man whose life was shattered by a false confession and his decades-long fight to reclaim his stolen identity. If Ethan's story made you question the system, hit that subscribe button and share this video to spark a vital conversation. Another story of justice, or the lack thereof, unwrapped. Don't forget to like and comment with your thoughts.